Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Chris from DIY E65 E66.com, and today's video we are going to be replacing the alternator, and I'll go ahead and show you guys in another video some of the symptoms that I was having. I was getting all sorts of crazy generator faults, so on and so forth. Now this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more high-paced, but it's going to show you the basics. The reason it's not going to be as detailed as my normal videos is I have to get to work in a couple hours and I'm in a time crunch, so I just don't have time to tell you exactly everything. But the first thing you want to do before you start working on the alternator, or even just before you forget, come over here, disconnect the negative terminal from the battery. Disconnect the negative terminal from the battery so all power is out, so that you're not going to get a shock from the alternator. Let me go ahead and go over the basics here. Now, to pull your alternator, this is an air-cooled alternator. This is not a water-cooled alternator. So a water-cooled alternator is going to be pretty much the same steps, except you're going to have to unplug some hoses. Again, this is an air-cooled, and you can tell it's an air-cooled because it is open, and you can see some wiring in there as well. Now, my pulley hasn't seized up, my alternator hasn't seized up, but it's giving me a lot of problems. I've already tried a new battery, and it's not working, so alternator is the next option here. So this is how to replace it. So what you do here, first and foremost here, you get to this location right here, you got to take off your air filter boxes. You have to remove your thing from right here. I'm sorry, I'm just in a time crunch, guys. You have to remove your other air filter box over here. I completely removed that. I removed my fan shroud here. And how to do that, you have to remove your radiator top here. And that's very simple. You just have all these small T-Torx bits here, and then you have some small little screws that right here, right there, right there, right there, that's 4, and then one right here, that's 5. So once this is removed, then you remove those Phillips 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then what I did is I actually removed this little hose from my expansion tank right here so that I can get my fan shroud out. Now, one side of the fan shroud, this is going to be the passenger side. That's why you have to remove the air box, so this can go right up. Disconnect the fan wire. This actually folds in, so you can remove that. That folds in, so you can remove that there. Okay, and then, let's see, what am I missing here? Now we're working on the alternator here. But first and foremost, once you get to this, and before you start working on the alternator, you got to remove the serpentine belt. I have a video describing that pretty easily, but you just stick your T-Torx bit in here with your breaker bar, crank that. That's going to remove the tension, remove the serpentine belt here, and then you have access once the fan shroud's out. I removed one long bolt. This is one alternator bolt right here. And you also have to remove the pulley, which is right underneath, has a little cap on it. You just take a flathead screwdriver, pop that off, exposes this, you put a T-Torx on that, loosen that guy on up, remove the pulley from right here, and then now I have removed the bolt right here, and we have the second bolt right here. Now this part, I'm going to put down the camera, and you have to be very, very careful, because you do not want to pull out your alternator and hit your radiator. That is a bad no-no. Alright guys, the old alternator is out, and after you remove the bolts, it's going to take a little bit of adjusting, and mine right there, you can see this little like white plastic piece that holds on the alternator cables, and I actually had to lift that up a little bit and wiggle it forward. It came all the way out, and then you just remove them from those little plastic holders, and then you can pull it out. Be very careful of your radiator. I got kind of mine dirty a little bit, but that doesn't matter from my gloves. But try your best, absolutely try your best. Do not drop your alternator. It definitely helps if you have someone holding it for you while you can get your appropriate tools. It's a 13 mil for the little alternator connector there, and then the plug, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Of course, I used a flathead and just pushed the tab and exited it out there. That's where the plug went, and then that little black cable connector went right on there with a 13 mil, and that was I worked up a sweat just trying to get that dumb thing out. That was a pain in the butt. So anyway, old one is out. Keep that, return that one for your cord charge. Now I'm going to put the new one in, And again, guys, I'm in a crunch with time, so with putting it all back together, you're just going to go ahead and reconnect your cable here and put on your 13 mil, and then plug that back in, slide it in, make sure it's going the appropriate direction. Put in your 2 bolts. The left one is going to be a lot longer than this one, and then your pulley is again down below. Pop that guy on right there, and then just put it all back together. And again, guys, I'm so sorry that this video isn't as detailed as my other ones, but hopefully this has helped you with replacing your air-cooled alternator. Again, water-cooled is going to be just a tiny bit different. There's great DIYs already on the forum boards if you guys want to check those out.